Welcome everybody to the IEN Esports Network. My name is Edu. Today I am joined yet again here with Hot Sauce with our best of one for Valorant now. Hot Sauce, we have an interesting match that we got going on. So how are we feeling about this?
Hey, just excited to be back into the booth. Valorant, one of my favorite games to cast. So we've got South Ripley High School taking on Union City High School. Union City is 1-0 on the season currently. South Ripley is 1-1 as well. So far, just kind of getting the season cracked into, both fairly even as far as the records go. So I think it's going to be an exciting match. I know Union City, I think, has 4 seniors and then 1 junior in Reese. And then on the other side of things for South Ripley, we've got 4 juniors and then 1 senior. So just interesting little additional facts.
Yeah, honestly, looking at some of these team stats is something that's really fun to do. And of course, we get the honor of doing it thanks to one of our sponsors, the LOS portal. That's going to be League OS. Of course, if you guys want to play esports in college, you're going to have to use this. I play for my collegiate team and we use League Spot almost every single day. So if there is any way that you guys want to check out League OS, make sure to do the LOS portal. There should be a nice sponsor tag and link in the description or link in the Twitch channel if you are interested. But if you do get on in with League Spot or League OS, you do have a chance at scholarships. There's also verified collegiate coaches that are scouting players. So if you are a high school student looking to maybe delve into esports as your academics just increase into the higher tier, make sure that you check out League OS. But of course, it's best to be doing that on your gaming PC thanks to our wonderful sponsor ZOTAC. Probably some of the best, highest end graphics cards you could probably stick into one of your bad boys. But with that being said, we have a decent matchup for us. As we said earlier, Hot Sauce, a best of one, Valorant being the game. Now, Valorant's got a lot of maps, and I believe we're going to be heading to Ascent for this one. So how are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, Ascent, we see a ton of, it used to be Haven before Haven went to the wayside initially, and then Ascent was that #1 map pick. So very, very comfortable, very common map pick, I think, for both of these teams. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the Killjoys and the Sovas or the Sovas and the Cyphers coming out here as well. Kind of typical standard comps, but sometimes, you know, at this level as well, you kind of get players playing the agents that they're most comfortable with as well. So it's always interesting to me to see, you know, how much kind of toward the meta do they lean and how much more toward the comfortability pick do they lean toward.
Yeah, and I'll also like to see what kind of coach they have behind the scenes that's taking a look at the meta, because Ascent is a hot button issue in the higher end of esports for Valorant right now, as it has been kind of blowing up recently with a shift in its entire meta. For almost 3 years, the meta was double initiator and or even triple initiator plays with 1 sentinel, 1 controller, 1 duelist. But now we're looking at a completely shifted meta. We have a deadlock Cypher being pulled out for the double sentinel. We have a very interesting way that these players are now locking down the A site. Sova has been meta for so long, actually seemingly not being picked as much. So a lot of meta defining moments are happening on this map. So based on what the agents will be locked in tells me a lot about what kind of research or, higher level strategies they might be bringing to play here. As this is a high school level academic event, it really could highlight who's been looking at the, broader aspect of esports for their respective teams.
Yeah, and to me, I think it's always interesting to see the map bans as well. I think, if you're some of these other schools, maybe take note at some of these maps that teams are banning. I know UC banned Sunset, Icebox, and Lotus. And then on the South Ripley side, they banned Bind, Abyss, and Haven. So things to maybe take note going forward as well when you're doing those VOD reviews or looking to prep for a team that you're playing here in the future.
Yeah, so let's get on into this. Let's have a decent setup with the match here. Honestly, looking at the stat line for the home team, these guys are 1-1. You compare that over to the, UC Valorant Varsity team. They're coming in here 1-0. What that tells me is that they might have had a reschedule, so they haven't played as much Valorant in this league yet. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to be coming in with style, as they are undefeated. So, Hot Sauce, this is going to be very intriguing to see who goes where, what's on first, and the overall vibe of these two teams. But as we do have the map bans from each of the sides, it looks like they picked this map very early on for this team, but banning out Abyss is kind of a pretty standard ban cycle here, and you can see who banned what. South Ripley really did not want to be on Abyss, Bind, or Haven, and what that tells me is that they are very much not so confident on the tight angles and long range fights that Abyss and Haven can offer, and you compare that over to UC Valorant, their bans Icebox, Lotus, and Sunset suggest that they don't like close quarter combat fights. So being on a Ascent, you got a little bit of both worlds here. So now we're going to see what kind of lock-ins are going to be picked by these agents.
Yeah, a little bit of best of the both worlds here at Ascent. Of course, Union City did solidify that map pick, so South Ripley getting to choose sides. They'll opt to go with defense first, and of course, Union City will be starting out on attack. And, you know, we talked about how maybe teams getting a little more away from that meta, you know, the Sova, the Killjoy, and we see neither of that happening on the defender side here for South Ripley. Kind of some interesting picks, and you know, typically you don't see those two duelists anymore, but we have that right now, at least at the moment, on both sides.
Yeah, going in, I see the moused over Deadlock. That tells me a lot here, especially mousing over as well the ISO. But you look on over at South Ripley, they're going for the Neon and Yoru. Neon Yoru has been another shift in the meta when it comes to duelists. These are the two strongest duelists in Valorant. It isn't really debatable anymore. If you look at, you know, challengers, if you look at VCL, if you look at now upcoming VCT season, you're going to be looking out for these characters. So seeing that locked in, I'm very confident. The problem that I am having, though, defense. Not a single Sentinel on a map that right now the meta is Sentinel defining. So, you know, is this very aggressive playstyle going to help them or hinder them? As I look over at both of these two teams, and you have, you know, ISO right now, a very strong agent as well, but paired with the Deadlock might add for more defensive playstyle, especially as we are starting in a best of one here. So there's just, you got to go for it or you get knocked down.
Yeah, I think maybe it kind of boils down to some of these high schoolers just picking the agents that they're most comfortable with as well. I mean, Neon and Yoru together here, especially on a more defensive side of the map, is a little bit out of the norm. But, you know, maybe they're looking to get those extra rounds on the attacking side where teams do often struggle just a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes down to this, it looks like we are going to be seeing an early B push here, and that could be a real smart play by UC Valorant. But, of course, they are going up against a Yoru and Sky, but B site with no Sentinel should almost be free right now. This is not going to be a, you know, easy thing to hold here if you don't have a Sentinel. So we do see some decent util usage, but at the end of the day, this is a high school team, so we're gonna have to, you know, gauge how good these players are, what their aim can really cook up with here, as this is just, you know, pretty much entry-level esports.
Entry-level esports as they try to entry into this B site, and we see esports 4 through the mid, the flank, and Neon dashing in, finding one, quickly traded out here by Smexy though, so 1 for 1 to keep it up. Now Gecko running away, nearly shot on the back, but the smiley faces can't connect here, and with that smoke gonna slow things down a bit.
Wow, Smoke's slowing them down, and now a decent reset timer here. We got 60 seconds remaining. They're just whittling down the clock, but a rotate is being called by the attackers. 2 of them splitting off and heading towards A. The other 2 taking it slow and actually getting a pick over here on the Gecko, making this a nice 4v3 retake as long as the Omen doesn't get caught out as well. This should be an all right time to shine, but at the end of the day, I am going to be looking forward to how this retake entries with, of course, the Clove still being online. They still have their smokes, but wait, look at this position from the Deadlock.
Unfortunate crosshair placement, just a little bit low there as that kid now lingering through mid, gonna catch Halo off guard. One more from behind for the 2-piece as well, and potentially looking for that third as we see the smokes going out here as well. Checkmate full health, looks to be the pistol swap and gets caught by Deadlock here as well.
Wow. I mean, what a solid round from the UC Valorant varsity team. I mean, they played that quite well. They, you know, shout out to the IGL. The call to rotate there went well. They didn't find anybody on the flank. They managed to really get their bearings, plant that bomb, and win with a near flawless record, only losing 1 player in that round. And the 1 player being Don't Peek Me, the ISO, who unfortunately now is going to be resetting into this next round with a decent force up. And we are seeing a force from the defense here. We got some stingers out, armor, ghost. This is a very bold economic play.
Yeah, and it's not together, right? If they're going to force, I'd like to see them force together. We kind of have maybe 3 members forcing 2, just scrapping along here as well, which can lead to some economic troubles later in the path. But running through mid is Neon yet again. This time, Don't Peek catches him off guard, but the spray just a little too sporadic to find the kill, and we'll have to continue to deal with that pressure at mid. Meanwhile, B has opened up quite a bit here, and they pick off 1 more. But unfortunately, again, that B site is free if they opt to push on.
Yeah, in defense again, getting just taken out one at a time. Look at these angles from where they have been felled. When you have 1 in mid, 1 top of A. I mean, everything here seems a little bit around the corners. A lot of aggression with these, light buys. But in an ideal situation, when you are going for a force, you want to try to group up on a site. And even if you might not have the best of weapons, you do have numbers to your advantage. But this time, we didn't get to see any of that. Now, it's checkmate 007. Let's see if this chess player is going to be able to put the pieces down or become a pawn against this team.
Yeah, it's just tough. Again, the situation not in their favor. The weapons not in their favor. And coming off of that scrappy buy as our Halo pushes through with a blind, able to find 1 before being traded out. Now we can see the sprays coming back and forth through the smoke here. They realize the checkmate is in market, and JS1 will find the final kill. Again, only losing 1 member is UC, which does wonders for that economy.
Yeah, doing absolutely a beautiful job to set up this attacking side, while the defense, because they did force, that is going to be IHSEN Valorant home team looking a little bit broke right now. They don't really have the fundage to back their play style, and now we're looking at them in spawn, kind of curious as to where they're going to go. You have Neon and Sky debating where to go, and with 5 seconds left, no one's even bothering to watch mid. Luckily, they do choose the right site. A site is going to be where Attack wants to lead here.
Yeah, and again, we see on defense them kind of forcing into 2 weapons, but the 3 that bought previously can't buy this round. They need to make sure that they're saving together and buying together. A plethora of utility thrown at A main. We'll get the intel, the Sky Flash back with a little intel of their own, and right now, a little game of cat and mouse.
Cat and mouse, as we do see a little bit of a pushback here for the kill from that kid, and of course no flank developed by the Neon. We are seeing even more. The entries finally coming on through. They're spraying, they're spraying, and they're getting 2 down and leaving 2 remaining. A Gecko is on the flank as Yoru's trying to just make some space for him, but the Omen, I believe they did hear those footsteps. You have now our Halo jumping on in, but caught with his pants down, util outward, and it's a 1-tap from that kid.
That kid clutching it up, and it's been the theme of the day thus far for UC Valorant Varsity, as again for the 3rd round in a row, they only lose a single member. So close to these flawless rounds as they continue to apply pressure. Another full buy coming in, but again on the other side of things here for this South Ripley squad, we see him kind of scrapping back in. We have a Vandal, we have a Guardian, a Marshal, a Spectre, just an array of weapons here. And again, it does, kind of suck to take that loss, but you just need to eco up together, suffer through that loss, see if you can get a couple picks, and then ensure that everybody can buy together in the following round.
Ooh, great flashbang there to try to open it up, but no one's actually going to push in with that clone. It's really just for information, but you look at the info that's gathered by this Gecko. He's stuck in logs, and he is going to be buried there. Beautiful spot for the Omen to hit him at, and now it's just going to be the Reyna walking on up, spotting out a Neon, and it is freer than free. We still have 2 players remaining, but unfortunately, they do not have the weaponry for this. Now swinging out with the Marshal, gets punished like that, leaving now the Clove, who's just on a flank. Luckily, does have a rifle.
Spike planted.
A rifle in hand, but that kid watching patiently as Jadeite able to find the head there. And with that, continues to look to pressure on a 4v1. No easy task. And again, taken out by the Reyna. So to stick true to that theme, you see only losing 1 member here in round 4 as well.
Well, only losing 1. Now, what is the economy of this team? Looking not too sharp. A real disconjointed buy from this team. They have some Outlaws, they have some Spectres, even some rifles, so kind of just forcing up. But you look at our Halo, you don't get armor if you go for that Phantom. You look at the Neon, it doesn't get armor if you go for the Spectre. Just all around, not really an informed buy from this team, and that is going to leave some question marks in the air for UC Valorant as they get to just walk up onto the B site, splitting up and looking for clues.
Yeah, we can see Neon ducking into Wine here, but most of the action lingering around B side. And with that, we'll see the quick and pace from Neon. JS1 at the top of Cat has to be careful. The flank coming in here as well. And now realizes that there is one there. The controlled spray, and it's Esports 4 who falls. JS1 hitting heads and getting bread. One more tucked at mid. We'll have help from Smexy on the crossfire. And with that, down to a 5v1 yet again. Our Halo just in a tough position. The economy not there, and might want to consider saving that Phantom.
And can't even have time to consider when you have a triple kill coming out here from JS1. What a solid Deadlock play. It's kind of why Deadlock is right now the strongest Sentinel on Ascent. You know, that can be debated, but it has been locked in so many times, and in this map, it's also the strongest player on it with a 7-0 KD. The only person who hasn't died yet with them is Smexy Hogs. So overall, you're looking at a very potent attack side, and again, another disconjointed buy, another some people are saving, some people are forcing, and everybody is just going for a gun.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some moments of greatness from South Ripley, but I think if they watch this VOD back, the biggest thing they can take away is to make sure that we're ecoing together and buying together, because it just makes it that much tougher. And speaking of tougher, don't peek me, JS1 continue to assert their dominance as they stampede onto the A site, find a couple picks, and again, the pressure just not there. Jada will be able to pop the ult here from Tiles as well, but Smiley looking for more, has the Lear as well. The blind not going to connect, but again, confident in the aim and confident in their ability to win these 1v1 battles.
Yeah, and 1v1 will come down to 1v1v1, a 3K for the Reyna. Beautifully played here by the triple smiley faces for the triple kills. Leaves now a 6-0 stat line here. So what should happen in this point is when, if you are an IGL here for SRHS Valorant home team, you call a timeout here. You want to try to get your team's head back in the real good space, as well as just make sure that they know when to buy, what to buy, because right now we're seeing a lot of force ups here, and at the end of the day, they're just going at it every single round, buy out and try to reset. So let's hope that we can find some of them in the kill feed here, as it is a big B stack, which honestly 5 on B could stop this team entirely.
Yeah, looking for the intel, and the dimensional drift is our Halo. Has spotted at least one there as well, as we see him kind of begin to back off toward mid, and nobody on that A site at the moment. All the space given here at mid, I think just wanting to play together. Unfortunately caught with a knife out. JS1 spots one, can't quite connect, and Jedi will return fire, find the first pick, and look to give him the upper hand. Smiley quick to find the equalizer though.
Yeah, big pick up there, and now we got Hogs going with the dog, and that's going to be a good bite down and a kill onto these players. So with this team, we are going to see the spike in control over by Tiles, which is completely flustering this attack side for the first time in a long time. They have no idea how they are going to re-aggress this. They're kind of like just staggered a bit, but as long as Checkmate is in that ideal position, just having that pin, they might be able to keep this mid control. But the flashes come out, they do get swung, but luckily they're around the corner. Yoru with a great flashbang here to keep their team up, but it's the swing and 2 HP. Smexy Hogs is almost down. Great heal to pocket your teammate, but it's the flank from the ISO who gets shut down by Checkmate, who gets shut down once more, and it's just a 1v3 and almost gets another beautiful attempt here from this Valorant home team.
Yeah, you know, we saw that great flash from Yoro as well, but he's, you know, on that peak only had a ghost to work with, and it just kind of goes back to the team not really saving and or buying together. Every round has kind of been a mismatch of scrappy buys and light armor and pistols, some with rifles, so just kind of a little bit of a cluster bomb there as far as that goes. And I think, again, if they were able to find a way to just save together, buy a full round together, we could potentially see them take a round or two away from UC, but unfortunately we're just not seeing that here in UC right now, playing near flawless.
Yeah, nearly flawless, but we're seeing some cracks develop here thanks to this defensive team, and it is that stack. Again, they're going to double it down with a great thrash. That's an opening for them, and a nice pick from Jedi. Huge opportunity. This 5 stack is working well, but uh-oh, they're swinging into another pick for this Clove. Spike is down, back in their hands, and they have every single player locked in now. They just have to hold it. They just have to stop this attacking team, and that opping Deadlock might be able to get the pick, and yes, will peek and pick and get one down.
Yeah, they got to be careful that they don't continue to solo pick and give him so many 1v1 opportunities. A lot of damage being done, but the ult comes out, unfortunately does not connect. And with that, don't peek me at mid. Smiley as well, both combining as they click the dome and send them home. Jadite, though, with a 3K in return. One orb away from the alt here as well. Has the spike down, looking to be cautious, trying to play well. 96 health here as well. A little bit of damage done to Deadlock, so has an opportunity, but the spike will be gathered and potentially we will see a rotation.
Honestly, Jadite here played that so well, picking up the orb to make it so if they do manage to isolate another 1v1, that guarantees their ultimate to clutch it up and potentially get an ace this round. It's all on the back of this Clove, and they might be able to isolate that Deadlock. Only 30 HP, but the smoke is coming out, and the timing is ideal. But the ult, it barely whips, and now swinging on out, they're down. Jadite, an ultimate alive, but with the bomb not planted for attack side means they will get shut down.
Yeah, Jadite with a 4K and nearly the ace. Picked off the ISO as well. It was the Deadlock who was dangerously low on health, but able to clutch that up here for UC as they keep this flawless streak alive here, 8-0 at the moment. And again, you take a look at the scoreboard there, you can see the full set of rifles and full armor for UC. And once more on the other side of things for South Ripley, just kind of struggling to find that full buy together. I understand that pressure of wanting to buy, wanting to win a round, but you're going to give yourself a better opportunity if you're able to do that together as a 5-man.
Sound sensor out.
Let's see if they're going to be able to now re-hit this. Is again, they're kind of abandoning A, but going for these early fights has managed to work it out for them. The problem is when you see these lurks from the Reyna, but the Reyna's gone. A one-tap here from our Halo, beautifully setting them up for success. You don't have to worry about that one player, but A site still left open. We could have that attacking side rotate, but instead, don't peek me. Peeking mid is just going to be holding W and trying to find that pick onto the Neon, and will succeed.
Oof. Had to do a double take for that one, but still able to come away with it. That kid with a nice peek will find the dome of Jeb here as well. And with that, Jadite beginning to pressure through mid two on the other side, lingering on that long sight line here as well. But what a shot from Jadite! Absolutely on fire, and this could be the single spark that ignites a spectral fire here for the rest of the crew. They have the player advantage, but JS1 quick to nullify that.
Wow. I mean, beautifully played by this Clove. A complete shift in how this player is able to connect the shots. And now we might see another shot connect as it's an op versus a Sky. Can we see one bullet, one dream for JS1? Yes, we can. One pick down, leaving Jadite all alone. But this is the player who we've seen clutch these before. The problem is their ultimate does not work if they're the last player standing. It's all 70 HP versus 2. A 1v2 and a crossfire at that.
Yeah, just again, a tough position for Jadite to be in here. We saw him nearly get that ace in the previous round, and now back into a 2v1. A nice controlled spray, unfortunately, just missing the head here as well. We'll have to back off to safety, but so much time has ticked away, and we can see him running toward tree, but disaster most likely awaiting on the other side as they both fall to the bomb, and Deadlock will be the last alive. 9-0 as UC continues this dominating run.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, great save there. Being able to keep that op, now has enough money to buy their team up here. And again, we talk about those buys. If you are on this team of IHSEN Valorant, you need to take a deep breath and focusing on fixing your economy across the board. We got some people who can afford Bugattis and other people who can't afford anything. So, you know, a little bit of a class divide happening in this defensive team. Luckily, they're still managing to get decently far into these rounds thanks to Jadite, but they're gonna have to start working across the board as more team synergy matters.
Yeah, I think this team could certainly go a long way from buying together. We could see a big improvement throughout the next week here as well. And again, sometimes just a little bit VOD review is all you need, but Checkmate stepping out and finding one, and a beautiful shot off the blind. Smiley face looking to be aware of the dog coming out, and that is unfortunate. Checkmate caught off guard as JS1 maybe AFK for a moment will be taken out. The spike spotted here in spawn as well.
And now it's just going to be two duelists versus the world, Reyna and ISO, to isolate their picks. And they managed to get the bomb defense down. Bye-bye. This could be an ace for the Reyna. Getting a pick like that opens a lot of doors for them. But what is the plan? What's the way that they're going to manage their way through this? As, of course, we do have UC Valorant Varsity. Oh, a tongue twister there. Wanting to now get back onto a site with 40 seconds left. Jadite, this has been the bane in their existence, even though they have been undefeated. If they are to be defeated, it's by this Clove.
Yeah, Jadite able to gather a Vandal here as well as the momentum beginning to shift toward that B side on the minimap. We can see them continuing to pressure toward the site. Nobody's here, so the plant will come down with ease. It'll be a 2v2 retake here as well, and Clove potentially could push in first here for Euro. Play off of that alt. Euro has an opportunity to bait the alt here from Clove, but sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yeah, but here's the one thing I am looking at, and that is Jadite now pushing on up and spotting someone in the smoke, but actually able to get the pick. Now leaves Reyna in a 1v2. Jadite is going to get aggro here and gets picked off, but now because they're not alone, they get their ultimate back online, and oh my god, the classic is flying, and the rounds are coming up hot here for SRHS. Again, this is a Clove to be MVP for this team.
Yeah, I got to give hats off to Jay and South Ripley, now able to battle back and at least grab a round here as well. So, you know, not going out completely empty-handed here in the first half. And with that, they should have a little bit of funds in the bank and maybe have a little bit closer to a full buy. Unfortunately, it does still look like a couple members going to be stuck on that Spectre and the Sheriff as well.
So what's the plan now? Of course, again, they're just forcing up, which makes sense when they're down this many rounds, but there's not many rounds left in the half for them to have this bad economy, so there's really no point anymore to talk about fixing it. There's no timeouts being called, and of course, there's no real timing to get their money back online, but it looks like we have seen Union City figure out A site is left abandoned for most of these rounds, and yeah, it's just the Neon down. They gotta walk onto this point here. Who's gonna be able to stop them? We do have one player in the high ground, and we might be able to set up something, but the flash is a bit too big, and the pick from the ISO on the flank might be famed. Another one, and it's just one left. Our Halo, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, 10 health, still able to find the pick there. Smiley will get our Halo up top. And again, a flawless round here for UC as they look to crack one more before halftime, and just absolutely putting on a clinic at the moment.
Wow. Absolutely beautifully played, but we are going to shout out to Jadite for this first half, being able to buy with their team, being able to, you know, get all of these kills, keep their team afloat, and get at least one round down. But with no real ultimates remaining for this Clove, a clutch like the previous is going to be a lot more difficult. We do, of course, have some ultimates almost online. Again, Checkmate here looking to get their Seekers on the board. Hopefully they can manage to get that, but early in, Checkmate is now in a 1v1, and he does not win it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. At least Neon was able to get a consolation prize while all that was going down. That kid quick to find the trade. Jeb will get one with a ghost as well, and hopefully be able to pick up a better weapon here as we see Smexy now tucked into the corner. Jadite has been spotted on the flank as well, and just like that, back to a 2v1. The advantage here to UC, but Jeb on this ghost is having a lot of success. That'll be the second one there for Jeb, picking up the Vandal now in a 1v1.
Smexy Hogs, last player on attack, wants to make this 11-1, but the blind is a bit too sharp for him, and yeah, but he gets out, he gets around the corner, re-swings it though, and it's a one-tap from the Gecko. A little bit of a messy attempt at a clutch there from the attacker, but at the end of the day, defense will be taking the second round for them in a 12-round half.
Hey, love to see it, you know, and that just goes to show we don't talk enough about the mental aspect of these games, but it's equally as important, and sometimes losing a lot of rounds like that can be devastating to the mental. But South Ripley just locking it in, focusing up, fighting tooth and nail to the end, able to grab a couple of these rounds at the end and hope to shift that momentum a little bit. It's certainly going to start with this pistol round. That'll help kind of set the tone and the pace for these next couple rounds, but they certainly really need to win this pistol one here.
Yeah, if you don't win the pistol, you don't win the game. And with it being the best of one, you don't win the set. So big breath here. I mean, Hot Sauce, you're laughing, but when you are down this many rounds, it's
no, you're right.
Pretty much set in stone.
I just, you know, I like to have my giggle now and then, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The pistol round is going to be so crucial to keeping them alive in this game. And we see again all that pressure right now mounting toward the B site. We see the flank coming in through mid toward tiles here as well. Neon's tucked back, but it's Smiley with a Sheriff able to find the head of Jadite, and with the raid boss down, it should be smooth sailing.
Wow, smooth sailing, and now pushing up is the ISO. The armor protecting themselves just enough to get a triple kill, flawlessing it up, and unfortunately the game-winning pistol went to the team that was already up 9 rounds. So this is going to be a little bit scary here for SRHS Valorant, and the question is, do they now force? Do they now just go for the best of buys? And it looks like going for full armor Ghost is the meta here. In my opinion, I think light armor Stinger would probably benefit them a little bit more, but you know, Ghosts seem to be the weapons that they have been able to get the most kills with, so as long as it's what they're confident holding is what they can potentially hold this attack side down with.
Yeah, I have to agree, though. The Stinger, it has that capability to find the head, a little run and gun action as well, but it's out front early. Smiley on the Vandal, forcing up big here in round 2. Smexy's going to find one with a Marshall, and everybody from this UC Valorant team just firing on all cylinders, working like a cohesive unit here as they continue to step in. Don't peek, quick snap of the wrist, nearly gets the second, but will be traded out.
Yeah, almost not traded out, though. We almost ran out of ammo there. Our Halo, 46 HP left with a flashbang now out. It's Smiley's time to shine, and the Shiner will come through to get the match point advantage. 12 now on the board here for Union City. And if Union City only needs one, then what is the method of stopping them?
Yeah, you know, I feel like you just take it one round at a time. You hope for the best, and, you know, you're going to have to, again, go back to that VOD review. Notice that you're not buying and saving together. Most importantly, I think that's probably the biggest thing that South Ripley can take away from this game. I mean, they still have a ton of juniors on the team. They have a lot of time to grow here yet before the end of the season as well. But, yeah, I think some VOD review is going to go a long way here for South Ripley.
Oh, absolutely. But it's an Ares, and that's going to be a insta-kill down onto the Neon. Now running fast into their Doom. Leaves now a push for attack to go up against this wall, and the Ares wants to re-swing. They're in a position to just start spamming, and honestly, I think that they can go for those aggressive plays. But here's a more aggressive play. The flanker coming on through. Smiley ready to find one more. No, it's Jadite to shut him down and find themselves with an overheal, but that kid is that kid getting the pick up, and now our Halo Guardian in hand has to guard nothing as they're gone. Wine is where the final player will fall.
Final player goes down. 13-2 is your final score, as Union City will remain undefeated on the season, up 2-0. South Ripley will fall to 1-2. And again, we saw many moments of greatness from South Ripley. More importantly, Jadite was absolutely popping off. But again, that biggest thing was not saving together and not buying together, unfortunately.
Yeah, but taking a look at the scoreboard separated out by the team, Smiley here ending out with an average combat score, an ACS of 457, a dramatic lead in kills, 25-6. They absolutely played that beautifully. So shout outs to this Reyna for being able to really go for the lurk plays, win it up in the multitude of kills, and of course ending out the attempt at a comeback there from Jadite. Shout outs to this Clove as well for really bringing the firepower back and not allowing this to be a 13-0. Honestly, Jadite here holding their team together and getting a couple rounds says a lot about the mentality and the skill behind that Clove player.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you take a look at UC as well. I mean, Reyna, four first bloods, ISO, Deadlock, Omen, all getting 2 first bloods as well. Just kind of showing that at any moment, anybody on that team can pop off. So they certainly have a solid squad there in Union City. I look to see how, you know, both of these teams kind of progress and develop throughout the regular season. Again, Union City playing with 4 seniors and a junior as well. So I got to believe that this team's kind of been together for a little while. That team synergy certainly seems to be there.
Yeah, definitely a more serious, or not serious, more seasoned team to take the cake there. But with this being a best of 1, that of course is all that we have here for the Indiana Esports Network. But we couldn't have done it without our final sponsor to thank, LANFest. Of course, if you guys haven't heard about LANFest, take a look at that, because they have 23 chapters across 18 states with over 150 events a year. You can find a nearby event at your location if you just head on over to LANFest. But with that being said, Hot Sauce, it's been an honor to be on the mic with you yet again. I'm glad that we could be here to cast some Valorant, and I know that we have even more esports here at the Indiana Esports Network to follow, so make sure you guys are following here on the Twitch channel. But Hot Sauce, any final thoughts regarding that set?
Hey, you know, I just hats off to both teams for a great day of Valorant. You know, obviously a little more tough for South Ripley, but great to be back in the booth again with you, Edu. I would like to take a moment to thank everybody behind the scenes as well. Ben, Jade, and Taylor for helping run the production, the stream so smoothly today. And of course, everybody at home hanging out, whether it's the teachers, the parents, the students, or the friends. We certainly appreciate everyone showing up, showing out, and showing support for the players here today. So with that being said, we hope to see you back here at the next event. We hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Take care, everyone.